Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you have ever felt totally overwhelmed by middle school homework, or honestly just felt like keeping up with your teachers is literally an impossible task, well, get ready, because today we are revealing a method that acts like an absolute cheat code for your brain. We're going to completely transform how you handle your classes, how you take notes, and best of all, how you ace those tests. And the craziest part, we're doing it all just by changing the way you use a simple piece of paper. Let's be real for a second. We have all been there, right? You spend like 3 hours the night before a huge 8th grade science test just staring at your notebook. You highlight everything in neon yellow. You read the pages over and over until your eyes literally cross. But then the next day, you sit down, look at the test, and your mind just goes totally blank. It is so frustrating, and honestly, it feels like a massive waste of your free time. But here's the secret. It's not your memory that's the problem. It is the strategy. Enter our solution, the Cornell note-taking method. Now, this was developed decades ago at Cornell University. And it's not just about frantically writing down every single word your teacher says. It's actually a super simple 3-part game plan designed to give your brain a serious workout while, get this, actually saving you study time in the long run. It totally transforms the passive, kind of boring act of taking notes into an active learning powerhouse. It builds real long-term memory. To make this work, we use a stealthy little action plan known as the 5 R's. Record, reduce, recite, reflect, and review. Think of these 5 steps as your personal roadmap to locking in those good grades. Okay, let's dive into this setup because it all starts before the bell even rings. You don't need any fancy apps for this. You literally just need to draw 2 lines on your paper. First, draw a vertical line down the left side, maybe about 2.5 inches from the margin. This creates your recall or cue column. Then, leave about 2 inches of empty space at the very bottom of the page for your summary. And that big space left over on the right, that is your main notes area. It's a brilliant, incredibly simple layout that forces you to be organized from minute 1. And hey, if you're wondering if this only works for, say, science or history, nope. Take a look at these real-life examples of the Cornell method in action for algebra and language arts. Whether you're mapping out the steps to find the slope of a line with y equals mx plus b, or you're analyzing the speaker's mood in a Langston-Hughes poem, this structure adapts perfectly to your exact class schedule. It is just incredibly versatile. All right, let's move to step 1, record. This is all about writing faster and smarter during class. This recording happens in that big column on the right. Now, because you obviously can't write as fast as your teacher speaks, we use what are called telegraphic sentences. Think of it like sending a text message to a friend or writing a quick social media caption. Let's look at a long textbook-style sentence. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell because it produces ATP. Yeah, that takes way too long to write. Instead, we drop the filler words, mito equals cell powerhouse makes ATP. It means the exact same thing, but writing it this way forces your brain to quickly process the information in real time. And using tiny symbols, massive time savers. You really want to develop a consistent shorthand cheat sheet so you never fall behind the teacher's pace again. Use W with a slash for with, B/C for because, and literally just draw arrows to show when one thing causes another. Just make sure you're consistent. When you use shorthand, your brain engages more deeply because you're actively translating the teacher's words into your own secret code. Now for step 2, reduce. This is where you basically build your own quiz. As soon as class is over, look at that narrow left-hand cue column. When you reduce your notes into this space, you're using a technique called chunking. You are essentially condensing the information you just learned by an incredible 80%. By pulling out only the most crucial keywords and turning them into short prompts, you clarify what everything means and, more importantly, reveal how different ideas connect to each other. So what exactly do you write in that left column? Well, you want to write deep thinking questions that your main notes provide the answers to. Try to do this within 24 hours of the lesson, while the topic is still totally fresh in your mind. Ask things like, define this vocabulary word, or explain how photosynthesis works. You can ask to compare and contrast to historical events, or how to apply a math formula to a real-life example. You are quite literally writing the test questions your teacher is likely to ask. Next up, step 3, recite. The active retrieval test. Okay, this is where the real magic happens. Instead of just mindlessly staring at your notes, I want you to physically cover up that big right-hand column with your hand or a blank piece of paper. Treat your notebook like a trivia game. Look only at the quiz questions you wrote in the left Q column. Now say the answers out loud in your own words. If you stumble, no big deal. Just uncover the notes, check your answer, and try again. This active reconstruction builds mental muscle memory way better than just passively rereading a page. Moving right along to step 4, reflect. It's time to connect the dots. For this one, direct your attention down to that 2-inch summary area at the bottom. Here, ask yourself, how does this fit in with what I already know? Or why is this significant? Just write down a couple of sentences summarizing the main theme. By writing down personal reflections, like maybe relating a history lesson to a current event, or a science fact to something you saw outside, you make it personal. And because it's personal, you won't easily forget it. Preventing these ideas from just sitting there becoming inert, that's the key here. Finally, we arrive at step 5, review, the ultimate time saver. Guys, this is the big payoff for all your hard work. Because of all the heavy lifting you did earlier, reducing and reciting, you now only need to spend about 10 minutes a week reviewing your older notes. Yes, just 10 minutes. Doing this quick weekly review completely eliminates the need to cram for hours and hours the night before a huge test. By the time test day arrives, you will already know the material cold. And this brilliantly illustrates the scientific concept of spaced repetition. See, by briefly revisiting your self-made quizzes every week, you're basically signaling to your brain that this information is important, moving it from short-term right into permanent long-term memory. The 5 R's turn the passive act of just sitting and listening into an absolute active learning powerhouse. So here is my final challenge for you. Are you ready to level up your notes and hack your study time forever? The next time you sit down in class, don't just write blindly. Draw those 2 lines. Set up your Q column. Try the Cornell method just once and watch how it completely transforms not just your grades, but your confidence too. Grab a notebook, give it a shot in your very next class, and see the magic for yourself.